So today I'm going to talk to you about my Meet the Teacher escape room activity. Meet the Teacher night can be quite the same thing year after year. So you want to keep your parents engaged and wanting to come to your Meet the Teacher night. So the escape room is going to be perfect. Plus, if you use escape rooms with your students in class, your parents are going to have the chance to witness and take part in an activity that their children will be doing. So when you download my Meet the Teacher Night escape room, this is everything you're going to have included. There's an editable brochure where you can write all details you want your parents to know about your classroom, about yourself, how the way you run your class, and any other information you want to pass on. There's 2 certificates. There's editable ones. They both come in Keynote and PowerPoint, where you can give certificates to the parents and your students once they've completed the Meet the Teacher escape room activity. Now, the escape room comes already set up in a PDF, or there's Keynote and PowerPoint options where you can create your own escape room using the templates that I've provided with you. So let's have a look. Here's the contents and the welcome page. So the contents is great because you can see everything that's going to be included. I've purposely made task cards and mini task guides that fit in the IKEA Tolsby frames. These are great to have on display around your room and for tables for parents to know where they're going to go next. So this welcome page is just great to have on display so your parents and their children know what to expect and what's going to be happening in your room for Escape the Teacher Night. So, the instructions. Here are the instructions for your parents to read for what's happening. So, the plan is you've made plans tonight to have a pizza or movie at home. You are really excited, and then you remember you have Meet the Teacher Night. You rush to get ready and head to Meet the Teacher Night. When you get there, all you can think of is pizza and your stomach starts to grumble. Can you make it through the challenges and escape from Meet the Teacher Night and get home to your pizza? Now, these are the task cards that I spoke about earlier to fit in the IKEA frames. They're great just to show your parents where the different tasks are and so they know which task they're completing. There are 7 tasks included. And then here are the mini task guides which also fit in the IKEA frames. I would print these as full pages, which you can see later, but you can also print them to go in the back of your IKEA frames just in case any of the guides go missing. You know, you can turn the frame round and the guide's there for your parents to follow. So there's the mini guides there for all 7. Now, this My Escape Room Journey, this is what your parents and their students, if they want to take part as well, are going to fill in. So you have your student name and your family members. Family members, mine put mum, dad, sister, granddad. Yours can put whatever you want. They can put their names, they can make a team name, they can put mum, dad, whatever they feel more comfortable with. So long as you have the student name correct, you know who attended Meet the Teacher Night. The progress, these are the task numbers. So every time you complete one of the tasks, you just colour it over so that the parents know which tasks they've completed and which ones they have left. They don't necessarily have to be completed in order. They can be completed whichever way parents want to. This is especially great if lots of people are going to be coming. You don't want everyone waiting for one task. They can skip from task 1 to task 6 to task 3. The only one you need to keep for last is task 7 because that gives the details of the final challenge and how they unscramble all the letters they've collected. So over here you'll see a little table with all the different challenges that say about letters. So every challenge you're going to be given a letter. You've got to do different challenges to get this letter. Once you've collected the 6 letters, challenge 7 is where you have to try and unscramble your 6 letters to make a word. Once they've done this, they return it to you, the class teacher, and they are finished. So task 1. Fill in the details on the sign in and sign up form. So here you can see the sign in and sign up form. This is great for you to have your students' names, the parent who's with them, their guardian, their email address, their phone number. Again, like I said, this comes editable, so you can edit all these forms to suit you, to what details you want to collect, if there's anything else. I try to limit it to 2 contacts per student, otherwise you're going to have loads and loads of these sheets and we don't really need all that. So once they've filled in all the columns for them, they have to answer the challenge at the bottom of this guide. So for this one, how many questions are there to fill in on the sign-in worksheet? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Write the third letter of the number into task 1 letter on your escape room worksheet. So go back to their escape room worksheet. They should be carrying this around with them and they know their first letter is U. Task 2. So this is drop off and pick up. The drop off and pick up one is here. It's on the next slide. So this is great. So you can find out all the information about how your children are going to be dropped off to school, how they're going to be picked up, and there's also an emergency contact number because as we know things come up and you might need to get in contact with parents or their pickup transport just in case anything changes. So once they've filled in that, they move on to the challenge at the bottom of this guide. So here's challenge 2. So I would recommend printing this as a full-size page, and I'd probably have a few copies just in case they get a little mixed up, in case anyone moves them, in case they get ruined. It's just handy to have a few spares on the go for you. So to complete this challenge, they have to follow the instructions and put the characters in the cart. Don't really put the characters in the cart, they can just cover them, whatever they want. If you want to print double copies and have them actually put the people in the cart, that's fine as well. We just pointed to them and that was okay. So the person who's left behind and doesn't go on the bus, you look at their name and you find the first letter of their name. And that goes onto your escape room worksheet. And challenge 2. So for challenge 2, put the girl in the car. Well, Sarah is our only girl, so she goes in the car. 2, put the boy in blue shorts in the car. So the only boy who's wearing blue shorts is Jacob. So who's left? Zach is left. The first letter of his name is Z, so you put this letter for challenge number 2 on your worksheet. And here's the drop-off, pick-off details. You have your student name, drop-off info, pick-up info, and emergency contact. So moving on to task 3. First you have to find your child's desk. I like this because they can see where their child's going to be sitting, if you think there's any issues that might arise from it, people around them, certain things next to them. Some children get distracted seeing outside, some children prefer to be outside. There's a lot of different things and this can be the time for parents to bring those things up with you and for you to reach a resolution before school starts. So once they've found their desk, there's an information sheet for them to fill in. So here is the information sheet. So you have your student's full name, other names they like to be called. I know sometimes a lot of children prefer to be called by their middle name. There's lots of different things to take into account. There's also their date of birth, their current age, their address. Now here you've got parent guardian number 1 and number 2. I think it's always important to at least try and have 2 emergency contacts because sometimes you might not be able to get hold of contact number 1, so it's important to have contact number 2 there just in case. Allergies, this is really important. People can be allergic to so many different things, so it's important to have it there because you might not even think someone's allergic to something when they actually are. Any regular medication. This is really important because if anything happened in school and you were taken to the doctors, the hospital, one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, have they taken any medication today? So it's important to try and have a log of this. Current diagnosis. Now this can be changed a lot through the year, so I'd recommend just building a relationship with the parents and the families just to make sure that any new diagnoses are passed on to you as well. But this is great for you to already see if there's any current diagnosis going. And also any other important information we should know. This could be something that's going on at home, this could be something personal to the child. There's a lot of different things that could really help us in the class. So going back, challenge 3. Again, you need to locate the challenge cards on the table and use the code word cracker at the top of the challenge card and use this to move the letters to break the code. So here is challenge 3. You're going to look at the numbers on your coded box at the bottom of this worksheet. Use the numbers in the code word cracker below to swap the numbers for letters. So we have numbers 1 to 10 here and 10 different letters underneath. So each letter is attached to a number. So number 1 is W, number 2 is E, all the way along to 10. So your code is 381. So 3 we know is C, 8 is O, and 1 is W. So you have cow. Now you know the word. What is the baby of this thing called? So what's the baby of a cow? It's a calf. And the third letter, the name of the baby, is your letter for challenge number 3 to put on your worksheet. So the third letter is L. So you can write that onto your worksheet. Task 4. So now we're going to be exploring trip permissions. We are big on collecting permission for trips that take place through the year at the start of the year. That way it's covered if anything arises. If we go to any bigger trips or further afield, then of course we ask for more permission. But this is great if you're just going out and about with the community, and saves having to ask for permission all the time. And then you've got challenge 4. So I'll skip ahead a second just to the permission forms. So this is just a little bit where you have your student's name, if they give permission, the date and signed, but also trip volunteers. Now, we don't necessarily need trip volunteers as we are quite lucky to be quite heavy staffed, which is suitable for our children. But I know many schools and teachers do actually require volunteers so that they can be efficiently staffed to go on these trips. So here's a little volunteer sign up where the parents or families, guardians can all sign up and give you days, times available, any notice they need to book time off work, and it's just a great way to get involved. So the challenge is, there's a jigsaw on your table. You've got to put the jigsaw together to build a Play-Doh letter. Once you've made your letter, this is your letter for challenge 4. So as you can see here, the jigsaw's already put together and it's the letter P. Obviously, if you had this, you would cut out along the jigsaw lines. I would recommend laminating it. Again, have a couple of copies because if one goes missing, you can't really see what the letter's going to be. So, letter P, and they can write that onto their worksheet. Task 5, take a hand. So have a look at the hands on the desk. Are you able to help us with donating anything on our hand wish list for our classroom? Please take a hand if you're able to help with something. And also fill in the parent volunteer sheet if you're able to offer yourself as a volunteer for anything through the year. So I'm just going to skip past our hands a second so you can see the different varieties that we provide. Obviously these are editable so you can change them up to however you want. And here's the volunteer sign-ups. So I just have a little checklist where the parents can, or families can tick what they would be happy to help volunteer with, as well as others. So we've had parents who have good connections in the community, own businesses, we've had animals brought in, so you might be lucky enough to have someone as part of your class who's able to do that for you. So let's just skip back and see. So the challenge for number 5 is, what animal am I? I have 4 legs, I have black and white stripes on my body, I look a bit like a horse, and I like to eat grass. So this may be difficult for some of our students. You could print out maybe a couple of animal pictures and have them dotted around the table. But as this is mainly for the parents, it's a great chance for the parents to try and brainstorm with their children as well, thinking of the animal. We know it's 5 letters, so we know it's a zebra. So the first letter is the letter for challenge 5 on your worksheet. So if you put zebra in these boxes, we know the first letter is Z. So that can go on your worksheet. Skipping forward to task 6, have a look at the information sheet on the table. You can find out lots of information about me as a teacher. Fill out the worksheet with your child for information about them for us to get to know your child even better. So here we have some all about me. There's 2 spelling options included, obviously favourite without a U, favourite with a U for different countries. The UK obviously we use this one, America this one. So this worksheet you can complete as a teacher first of all. We usually draw hair, some eyes, you know, a little pretty t-shirt, and that's our little self-portrait. Then we write down name, our favourite colour. I usually have crayons out on the table and they can just colour it. Favourite animal. Again, you can have some pictures out, you can give them crayons, they can write it. This is very informal and they can just complete it to the best of their ability with their parents supporting them. This isn't a graded piece of work, this is just something fun to take part in for Meet the Teacher Night. And again, their favourite food. This will probably come in handy through the year that you can look back on and see, oh, their favourite food is pizza. You can use this as rewards, you can use it to motivate them. There's so many different ways this can be used. Now, back to the challenge. So you can see we have a shadow here of an animal. So there's a little hint just in case they can't quite guess what the animal is. I have 2 big ears and a long trunk. We know it's an elephant. So the first letter of the animal is your letter for challenge number 6 on your worksheet. Elephant starts with E, so that's the letter that goes on our worksheet. Task 7, so here's the 7th and final task, and you've almost escaped from Meet the Teacher Night. You've worked really hard through this escape room and you've almost escaped. You just have 1 final task left to complete. On your worksheet you now have 6 letters that you have gained from each task. Your final challenge is to unscramble these letters and create a word at the bottom of your worksheet. Once you've unscrambled the word, write it down and hand it to the class teacher for your treat. Now, a treat can be anything. I've included a certificate and that can be the treat. You can have little donuts, little cakes, little lollipops. You can include anything you want to give out as a treat. You can make it as expensive or as cheap as you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit of fun and for them to have enjoyed their Meet the Teacher night. So I'll just show you some photos now of when we've completed this. So here are our task cards. This is what they look like in the IKEA frames. Stood up, they're quite small, but they're a nice size. They don't take over the table, and you can get everything you need on them. Here is the worksheet in action. So here, obviously, they've completed task 1, 2, and 3. The student name is Jackson James, and the family members taking part are mom and dad. The challenge letters so far, they have U for challenge 1, Z for challenge 2, and L for challenge 3. Here is the leaflet that you can use. So this is for Miss John's classroom, and inside you can see lots of different details. She's included about me, a schedule, topic, how they communicate in class, and how they use digital technology in class. On the flip side then, there's also behaviour. A lot of parents are concerned about how behaviour is managed in a classroom. This is a great way for you to show how you manage behaviour and how you work on it with the students. And finally, homework. A lot of us don't set homework, but if you do, this is a great space where you can write about homework and what you expect to be completed. Here you can see challenge number 2. You can see Jackson, his mum and dad are just starting it. They've finished task 1 and they're just sorting this one now. And I think here is our certificate. So this is the certificate that's included. You can edit it if you want to on the computer, or you can just print it out. You can edit it if you want on the computer, or you can just print it out. And I think that is possibly all I'm going to show you today. If you have any questions about the escape room, feel free to send me a message. If you go onto the TBT link that's included in this video, you can see this short video. So this video includes all the different photos and the videos of what's included in this pack, so you can see everything that's set up. Thank you.